So the emotional bank account, managing risk with discipline. We broke today into two parts. We have understanding the emotional bank account, so what it is, and building discipline to maintain a positive balance in that bank account. So pretty interesting stuff. I highly encourage you guys to ask questions throughout this lesson, pause, open a conversation. That's what we're trying to do here. I think it's a lot more beneficial than me sitting back and spewing curriculum at you. Sometimes it's necessary, but I think the most growth and development in our own journeys comes from dialogue and discussion. So highly encourage you guys to pause me, ask questions, comments, whatever it is, throughout this lesson. So without further ado, let's jump into it. What is the emotional bank account? So this is, again, from Stephen Covey, the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Really insightful person. So positive trading habits, let me back up a moment. So if you view your emotions as a bank account or a personal budget, you're able to make more rational decisions instead of, and let's jump into what deposits are and what withdrawals are, and then we'll move more into the definition. So positive trading habits and disciplined decisions we will call deposits. And then emotional reactions like revenge trading or ignoring risk management parameters are withdrawals. So if you make more withdrawals than you're making deposits, you're going to feel much more emotionally drained, and your decisions are going to be less analytical, more emotional, and to the point where you either blow your account or you quit trading. And that's the frank reality of what we deal with here. And that's why when you hear about day traders, retail day traders, that is, you hear the enormous failure rates when we talk about this stuff. And why do you think that is? It's not a lack of the technical information or knowledge that you need to acquire. It's the psychology and discipline that it takes to execute on that knowledge that you acquired. So I'm going to cover that one more time quickly so everybody understands. If you guys have questions, stop me. So positive trading habits and disciplined decisions are deposits. Emotional reactions are withdrawals. And just like a regular budget, a regular bank account, we're trying to keep those deposits rolling in more than the withdrawals. All right, everybody with me? Hopefully so far. So I want to ask you guys questions now that we have an understanding that positive habits and decisions are deposits, and negative emotional reactions are withdrawals. What do you think happens when your emotional account, let's call it, is overdrawn? Oftentimes, it's what we alluded to earlier, your account gets blown or you quit trading. And that's truly the frank reality of what we're dealing with here. So I want you to ask yourself that question and look back on your recent decisions. Am I making more emotional deposits than I am withdrawals, or vice versa? And how am I going to improve to make more of these deposits than I am making withdrawals? And if you're able to shift your perspective to look at trading through that lens, to look at your emotional state as a budget or a bank account, you have to be putting in more deposits than withdrawals. And that's just a reality of the situation we're facing. If you are withdrawing, you will you will overdraw your account, which in a very literal sense means you're blowing your prop account, your live account, your funded account, or you throw your hands up and say, this isn't for me anymore. And so that's what we're trying to avoid here. And we need to start building habits and systems and put them in place to make more, to make more deposits. So consistently practicing discipline in trading is like making regular deposits that build long-term confidence and stability. The same way that you would grow your wealth over time to kind of pull away from the financial stresses that you may have when you're living paycheck to paycheck. It's the same way on your emotional state. When you are making these bigger deposits consistently than you are withdrawals, you're going to see more confidence. You're going to have less stress, and you're going to be able to execute better in essentially your entire risk parameters. So that's the goal. That's what this whole lesson is kind of built up on. So I encourage you guys to reflect on recent trades and ask yourself this week, I know we're near the end, so we've had 4 trading days now, 3.5 potentially. ask yourself right now, maybe in the chat if you're willing to share, ask yourself, this week, have I made more deposits or more withdrawals? Was I practicing good habits and disciplined decisions, or was I revenge trading this week? Was I not really following my risk parameters? Whatever it might be, ask yourself that question right now. Did I make more deposits than I did withdrawals, or vice versa? And if you guys are willing to share, I'd love to talk through that stuff. And for some of you, this may be a totally new perspective. And when I came across this, I think I had it intuitively, but I never had it articulated the way that Stephen Covey had it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is gold for risk management and kind of the paradigm you should have when you look at trading. Because again, we talk about all the time how I'll stand on top of a mountain and shout it for everybody who wants to hear that your psychology and your mental and emotional state are far more weightier than technical terms and analysis that you have here. Of course, the technical stuff is necessary, but it's not sufficient to become a consistently profitable trader. You need that technical aspect of things, but you also need a firm, disciplined mental outlook or a perspective on your risk parameters and your emotional state, and essentially being a disciplined person overall. Is everybody with me so far? That was part one. It's going to be a quick lesson today, but I thought it's gold. That's some good stuff that we should truly be applying to what we're looking at on the day-to-day stuff. And another great way we'll jump into that here. So part two is going to be building discipline to maintain a positive balance, to maintain a consistent cash flow, you could call it, of the emotional well-being and discipline. All right, hopefully I didn't lose anyone so far. You guys are quiet. So part two, we just went over what it is and a little bit more on what an emotional bank account is and what we should be doing. We define deposits and withdrawals. So part two is going to be building discipline to maintain a positive balance. So let's talk about making consistent deposits. How do we do this? The same way that if you've never set up a personal budget for yourself, one, it's time to start, but two, when you first jump into this, it may be a little overwhelming. Like, oh my gosh, I have 50 subscriptions. I don't even know how to cancel half of them. I don't know what's going on. And a lot of money's going out and not a lot of deposits are being made, maybe one or two a week or one or two a month, whatever it might be for you. So building discipline to maintain a positive balance, making consistent deposits. So focus on actions that reinforce discipline, such as following your trading plan, setting stop losses, and adhering to your risk parameters. So no, I say it all the time, you need a risk management plan for every account. And broader than that, you need it for your personal budget and your investments as a whole. But to be more technical and more precise, let's just consider that you have one trading account. It's a funded account from Top Step or whatever it might be. Let's take a step back, making sure that you have a solid risk management plan, meaning you know that you're typically aiming for a 1 to 2 risk to reward. Your stop loss typically ranges from 50 to 75 ticks, and you adjust your lot size relative to where your stop loss is before jumping into the trade. You know where your take profit level is, where you're going to start trailing, where you're going to move to break even, where your stop loss is. All this stuff needs to be in place. Okay, we got that in place. So when we apply a good risk management plan to that, we need to also be focused on how do we actually execute. Once we have the fundamentals, cool, we got the plan. All we have to do now is execute it. And that can be really challenging, as most of us know, when things happen and unexpected market changes, and all of a sudden you're trying to make back some losses, you scale up a little bit. It doesn't even feel like revenge trading because it kind of fits into setup. You're like, oh yeah, it looks like it's going long. It kind of looks like a GUI model, whatever it is, and you jump into that long or that short, and you're starting to revenge trade and you don't even realize it. That is a withdrawal from your emotional bank account. And that is not how you build discipline. That's not how you're going to find consistency long term in this stuff. So, all right, you got it. I know that was a bit of a rant, but when we talk about making consistent deposits and reinforcing discipline through everyday actions, we also have to think about life outside of just trading. So when we think about how we set up our day, if we're undisciplined in our diet, or we can even take a step further back, we can look at our life as a whole and ask yourself, this is a deeply personal question. If you guys want to talk about it, that'd be great. But take a step back and ask yourself, do I do the things that I say I'm going to do? Not to, well, sure, to other people. You know, if you make a commitment to someone and you don't follow through, you're screaming undisciplined. But more so and more deeply, you have to ask yourself, like the things that you say that you're going to do to yourself. Like wake up one time. That's a very simple one that is really easy to break. And I just want us to be thinking about this stuff, because if you're undisciplined in every other aspect of your life, do you really think you're going to be able to sit down and have a perfect risk management plan and be able to follow that when your own money is at stake and there are some primal emotions coming out? Like fear is probably the biggest one when we talk about trading, and then greed, when greed is right behind fear. And then a mix of all those emotions start coming to play, and you're undisciplined in every other aspect of your life, and all of a sudden you're going to become disciplined to follow your risk management plan. I think we all know the answer to that. It's not going to happen. So again, when we talk about making consistent deposits, these emotional deposits into our emotional bank account, we have to take discipline and make it the priority in every aspect of our life. And a good way to do that is make challenges for yourself. Like you guys hear me talk about it all the time, is taking a cold shower in the morning. Say, I'm not going to trade today unless I take a cold shower, because taking a cold shower first thing in the morning when you're rolling out of your sheets or you're still under your sheets and you make that decision, that is really, really difficult. And then you get into a freezing cold shower, your adrenaline spikes, cortisol goes up, your body's flooded with dopamine, and all of a sudden you're alert. It feels amazing afterwards, but that decision and leading up to that, getting in the cold water, is really difficult. But what that does is when you sit down at your computer to make these emotional decisions when it comes to trading, you're going to be way more prepared for it. You just did something really hard. This doesn't seem like anything. You can really sit back, take some deep breaths, do the things that we talk about often of being relaxed, grounding yourself, taking off your shoes in the office, wherever you are, maybe looking outside, going outside, taking a sip of water. You're able to make much more analytical decisions. And that's what the goal is here, to just be purely technical traders and not have our emotions influence this stuff, which is really difficult. And that's why we're talking about this stuff. So practical tip for improving or making consistent deposits is, before each trade, review a checklist to ensure your decision aligns with your risk management strategy. So this doesn't have to be anything crazy. I have a link for you guys right here, useful info. Check out that. If you don't have a solid risk management plan, take that, look at what account size you have, and apply the max lot size in your tick to the, I have it set, I think, for 50 tick stop loss, and the max lot reflects that 50 tick stop loss. If you have a 25 tick stop loss, you can bump up your max lot size. If you have 100 tick stop loss, you have to scale down a little bit. But take that PDF that I made from the risk management stuff, and you can just print that out, put it in front of you. And if you want an individual, more in-depth risk management plan, I'm working on PDFs right now for, you'll see the generalized outline there. I'm going to make a PDF for each individual account, something that's kind of plug and play for most people. Of course, you'll be able to write on it and do all these things, but you can just print that out, put it in front of you, and then before you make a trade, just be like, okay, what are some things that I should be doing? So, okay, I am not going over 4 micros. Okay, got it. Check. My contract size is 4 micros. All right, I'm good. All right, I know if I get into the trade here, my stop loss is going to be below this breaker block or whatever it might be. And then my take profit level is going to be at this liquidity level. And if you just sit there, take a deep breath and look at that, and then make decisions off of the risk management parameter, you're going to be making those consistent deposits and making disciplined decisions, and you're going to really start to build systems for yourself that they invoke long-term success. And that's what the entire goal is here. So we've talked about the definition, we've talked about making consistent deposits. Let's talk about how to avoid withdrawals. So minimize emotionally driven actions like revenge trading or chasing losses by pausing to reflect before executing trades. I know this sounds so elementary, but it is so easy when you're in the moment to just kind of keep rolling with it. And to broaden our perspective here, think about something that you struggle with consistently. Maybe it's drinking too much alcohol and you are hanging around people at bars. Do you think that's a place that you should put yourself to avoid that situation? It's you're just kind of leaning into an act that you don't want to do. And so when we talk about avoiding withdrawals, it's the same thing when you're trading. When you feel that urge to revenge trade, taking that pause and stepping away from the computer can be the thing that makes all the difference for you. And so I just want you guys to get in that headspace. Just because you're not friends, I forget how the quote goes, just because you're not friends with the devil doesn't mean you need to hang around with him. And it's a broader theological question or quote, but it's true. You shouldn't be putting yourself in positions to make mistakes. The same thing for me on a personal level. I'm trying to be extremely fit. Putting myself in positions to drink excessively or have excess sugars, carbs, whatever it is, applied to your own life. But I shouldn't be putting myself in positions to where excess drinking is all around me, and you're kind of just rolling with it. And it's the same thing here. So I hope that's clear. And I hope that makes sense to you guys, and I hope you can apply that to your own life. But we already covered this. Minimize emotionally driven actions like revenge trading or chasing losses by pausing to reflect before executing. That pause is what we should be focused not only in trading, but in all life. When someone comes at you, when you're not expecting it, and they're extremely emotional, and all of a sudden you feel that strong evocative response from you, and you want to just yell at them or shut down or whatever it is, taking that deep breath and pausing can be game-changing. It can truly change your life as a whole if you're able to do that. And you can apply it directly to trading in every other aspect of your life. So if you implement a cool off rule, something to cool off. If you implement a cool off rule where you step away from the screen for 5 to 10 minutes after a loss to reset emotionally, it can be so powerful. And I'm sure some of you guys are thinking right now that I might miss the next trade setup. What I'm telling you is, if you sit there and you stew in that loss, even though it may be subconscious, and you're looking for the next trade just because you want to get away from that loss you just made. You want to make up those losses. You want to make even more than that. You want to go from red to green. When you are rolling with that, again, if you're sober, putting yourself in that bar, hanging around friends that drink excessively and too much, and do you think that's a good idea? It's the same thing of sitting at your computer after a loss and just sitting there waiting for the next trade setup. I'm telling you, that is a withdrawal from your emotional bank account, and what we need to be focusing on are these deposits. And one way to do that is just to stand up, walk away from the computer for 5 minutes. That's all it takes. And you will see positive changes when you start doing that stuff. All right, my last little point here. Let's see what Scud had. Cold showers, definitely not a coincidence, but ever since you recommended cold showers, I've seen a huge performance improvement in my trading. That's so cool. I love to hear that. On days where I do the hard, and take the cold shower, I have disciplined green days. Days where I choose to just wake up and trade, I find myself taking poor setups, rushing entries. It's so true, and I'm so glad you came out and said that. And I'm proud of you for actually applying that. So many times you can hear and study and understand all this great information, but if you don't apply any of it, what's it worth? It's just taking up space in your brain. So appreciate that, and I'm proud of you for realizing that. And, that's just everything you just said. It's really cool to hear, and I appreciate that. Um, so cool, man. Proud of you. Moving on to our last little point here, tracking your emotional balance. So keeping a trading journal to record decisions, emotions, and outcomes, use it to identify patterns and areas for improvement, like a personal budget. Look at that. I'll say that one more time for the people in the back. Keep a trading journal to record decisions, emotions, and outcomes. Use it to identify patterns for areas of improvement, like a personal budget. Look back just on this week, the last 4 days, folks. How many withdrawals did you make and how many deposits did you make? For most of us that are inconsistent and non-profitable, you're going to be making more emotional withdrawals than you are making deposits. And write that down. If you are, and I know I talk about it all the time, journal. Kind of goes in one ear, out the other. I'm telling you, if you do not have a system to look back on and see, okay, I'm struggling in this area I'm really strong. I need to take actionable steps towards improvement for this area of my trading. If you're kind of just floating around and you never are taking this seriously on a level like a job or a career, which I'm assuming all of us are trying to make profitable, consistent gains from this stuff, that's what needs to happen, is to really treat this like what it is, a really difficult skill set that's going to take time. And if we're just kind of, okay, yeah, you're thinking in your head, yeah, okay, I made a couple withdrawals this week, I'll work on them next week. And then when next week rolls around, you kind of forgot about one comes up, like, okay, yeah, I need to focus on that. But you're not making an action plan. You're not setting yourself up for success, and your systems are kind of all over the place. You think you're going to make it to the big leagues? This is not how it works. You have to make your systems and habits beneficial for your long-term goals. So, Scud, that's awesome. Keep on track, and I encourage all you guys just to keep a trading journal. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. Last little bullet point here. At the end of each week, assess your emotional balance by reviewing how disciplined you were in following your trading plan. It can be as simple as that. Just sit back, look at your trading plan, which could be your risk management plan, whatever it is. So you can look at the news on Sunday night. Okay, there's earnings coming out on Thursday during my typical trading time. I'm not going to trade Thursday. I'm going to be trading, okay, everything else kind of, it'll be good news Monday. Kind of like everything going on Tuesday, Wednesday. I usually go a little lighter on Friday. So I'm going to be trading 4 days this week, or if my setup allots me to, and just journal out your little outline. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, guys. Just write that stuff down. And then you can look back on Friday when you're done trading, or maybe the next Sunday. You look back, and hopefully you guys have a program like TradeZilla or own spreadsheet to track your wins and losses. Highly recommend that as well if you want to take this seriously. But you can just look back on that kind of trading outline. Okay, I actually I did take a trade on Thursday and it worked out, but I kind of took a withdrawal from my personal bank account, didn't really improve on any of my systems or habits. I actually kind of degraded some of my habits that I shouldn't be doing. The more you're able to measure this stuff, the more you're going to be able to manage it, and management is the key to long-term success. And that's, again, the goal of what we're all doing here. So my last little statement for you guys, the emotional bank account, like we're talking about these deposits and withdrawals, it's a really, really powerful framework to kind of shift your perspective, how to look at your risk parameters. So by making consistent deposits through disciplined actions and avoiding emotional withdrawals, you can maintain trust in yourself, which is huge, folks. You can maintain trust in yourself, build emotional resilience, and achieve long-term success in trading. And I know that just sounds like a pat on the back. Go get them, folks. But no, this is what it will facilitate. By making consistent By making consistent deposits through disciplined actions and avoiding emotional withdrawals, you can maintain trust in yourself, build emotional resilience, and achieve long-term success in trading. Truly, you can and you will if you set up your habits and systems correctly. And you guys hear me, I use this quote all the time by James Clear. You do not rise to the level of your goals. Everybody in here, we have hundreds of members in here, and on the free, we have about 1,400 people. I think every single person that is involved in this community, their goal is to be consistently profitable and to scale those profits. So everybody has the same goal here. The why and the motive behind it, sure, is probably different for every individual, but the goal is the same. So what's the difference between the people that make it and the people that don't? It's the systems that you have in place. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So I hope you guys really, really put that at the forefront of your mind when moving into this stuff, when taking trades, and when setting up your systems and habits. But again, just like Scud's talking about the cold showers, you have the information. Well, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to make an action plan in an executable and efficient manner to make things better? If not, things are probably going to get worse. And for me, nothing in life is black and white. But when we think about homeostasis on a biological level, things just even keel. pH isn't changing. Everything's the same. Everything's kind of neutral. For me, when it comes to how complex humans are, when we talk about developing skill sets like trading, especially something where it's very evocative, high emotions in this stuff, I don't believe in homeostasis. I believe truly, to my level or my understanding, that there's either progress or regress. Sure, on the long trajectory, for those of us who are truly making our habits and systems in a beneficial way, we'll see regression, but it's like this. We have this trend where we're continually going up, just like the stock market in general. But if you're really shooting at this from the hip and really not making habits and systems and action plans to move forward, you're regressing. And that's, again, this is take everything I say with a grain of salt, but that's truly my understanding of how this stuff works. I don't believe in homeostasis when it comes to day trading, that's for sure. All right, folks, that's my rant for today. What did you guys think? Give me a little something, little hate, little love. Give me something, but that's all I got for you guys today. Those of you guys on the way out, I bid you farewell. We're going to see you guys tomorrow for our prop firm giveaway. Hopefully you guys are green today. If not, hopefully you can look back and make an action plan. Hey, this is a learning opportunity for me. I followed everything perfectly and I just had a red day. Cool, smile about it. It's part of the journey. If there is something, which I'm willing to bet there is, that you can improve on, look back at it and say, all right, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to write it down, and I'm going to put it right on a sticky note in front of my monitor. For next time I approach this situation, I'm going to be better equipped for it. If not, if you just look at that loss as a failure, it's a losing mentality, and you're going to be regressing. So let's focus on this progress. Cool, folks. Well, I do appreciate each and every one of you that joined. A lot of us, I know I'm not talking about people with really tight schedules, but for those of us who join all the live trading sessions and that's all we do here, it's going to be hard for you. It's not impossible, but it's going to be hard for you to develop this skill set on your own. And that's what we're trying to do here, is provide you with the entirety of what you need when it comes to progressing. And so that, for me, the biggest stuff and why I teach this stuff is the risk management and the psychology aspect behind trading. So appreciate you guys taking the time to be here with me and hear me rant and kind of sift through maybe some of the less beneficial things that I say and find the gold nuggets that you can apply and put into an action plan and make things happen. So I appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Ron says, it's very hard to stay disciplined at trading micros when I'm seeing a lot of people making extravagant amounts of money. Dude, I'm right there with you. Truly, I'm a couple years into this, and I've been consistent for some time now, and my lot sizes are still really small. And a point of that is because I know I study risk management. That's what I do, and I know for long-term success, this is what's important. And for me, I don't want to generalize and say for everybody, but for me and people who think like me, having a deep understanding is what really is beneficial. So if someone tells me to go do something, I need to fully put my will into it. I need to understand why. Why do I need to go do that? Is it beneficial for me? He says it is, but I don't know why. Like cold showers, for example. I say that to some of you, and you're like, "That sounds awful. It doesn't even make sense." But for me, I've studied deliberate cold exposure for some time. And I'm not the one researching and making clinical studies. I'm just looking at this stuff and standing on the shoulders of giants. But I have now a deep understanding of how beneficial it is for me, and it's the same thing applicable to why when I send out that useful info tab, that risk management PDF, when you guys look at that, if you look at the max lot size per your account, you're probably way above that. But I'm telling you, when it comes to long-term success, you should be scaling way down. And Ron, I think truly you're killing it. No one else can see it, but I'll often pop in the journal entries that you guys are putting in the chat, and that's all private to you guys, but I'm still able to go in there and look at it. And I do that often as a risk management coach, just so I can have a general understanding of what people are most struggling with. And Ron, I truly do believe that you are really on the right track for long-term success and journaling this stuff daily and making things happen to promote success and writing down your emotion. This is the stuff that it takes. This is what really it does take. So that's so cool, so cool. And it's hard. There's no other way around it. You nailed it on the head. It's really hard to see people come out with big gains, but having that understanding that that's not what it takes to set up your systems and habits correctly for long-term success, that's what we should be focused on here. Let's play the long game, and that's what we're here to teach. Yeah, if you guys don't know the trading journals, which is somewhere I can find it for you guys, that's all private. Nobody can see that except for me, Braden, and JoJo. And I don't believe JoJo or Braden go in to look at that stuff. But as a risk management coach, I really do try to understand what you guys are struggling with the most. And so I'll go in and that's how I actually form my curriculum and my talking points, is looking at stuff that you guys might be struggling with and then kind of backtracking an outline from there. So I highly encourage that. If you don't want to, for me, I don't like, well, it depends. It's really beneficial because everything's online, so you can take screenshots of your trading executions, put it right into your journal, and then you can type about it. For me, I really do enjoy that pen to paper feel. I actually have the Kindle Scribe. I don't know if you guys are interested in anything like this, but let me see if I can pull it up here for you guys. So it's a little tablet, but there's no backlight on it, so you can be in any situation. There's no glare, and then the screen is textured, and so you can write on it, and it feels like pen and paper. That makes it easier for me to transfer my notes, and I do a bunch of other stuff. But whatever works for you guys, if you want to optimize this stuff, you have to be taking measures, i.e. your executions, outcomes, and trades, and journal entries. And you have to be able to look back at that and make an action plan forward. Otherwise, it's like trying to make it to the NBA and you're just playing street ball and kind of not really making any actionable, efficient steps towards, being in the NBA. And so it takes a lot, guys. It really does take a lot. Where's the journal channel? I don't see it. Let me pull it up for y'all. Someone can find it. Oh, right here. Trading journal. All right, click on that. Let me know if that helps. Oh yeah, start my journal. So as soon as you hit start my journal, it will create a private tab for you at the bottom of the Discord. I believe it's at the bottom. Nobody else can see it except for the owners of this Discord, which is 3 of us, JoJo, Braden, and I. And so you just literally no one else can see it. You can journal whatever you want in there. But it's designed to help you guys have everything kind of in a space all to your own, and it's all efficient. You can just kind of take a screenshot of either your broker or your trading view and just kind of plug and play. So So that's all I got for you guys today, folks. Unless you guys have any more comments, questions, concerns, um, I'll let you get back to it. But I do encourage you guys truly to do something difficult today and to make a challenge for yourself. Um, maybe cold showers isn't your thing, even though I highly recommend it. Maybe just picking something else that's difficult for you. Maybe before every trading day, you have to go for at least a 1 mile run, or do 20 push-ups, or sit, whatever it is for you that it's difficult to do. Maybe that's journaling. Maybe it's difficult for you to get up early and sit outside and write down your feelings and thoughts this morning. Maybe that's really hard for you, but do that. Just do something hard and you will see your life change. It's just like going to the gym. You're not going to see progress the first day, first week, first couple weeks, and then all of a sudden you look back on your progress pictures, or you see a picture of yourself 2 years ago and you're like, I am a different person. I am so different than when I was. And doing something hard daily is going to lead you there as well. We got one more. What's the best way to SS and upload the? It's pretty self-explanatory. So if you're talking about screenshot, well, if you're on Windows, if you just look up snipping tool, which is spelled like this, that's how I screenshot everything. You can screenshot the whole page, but you got it. So that's literally all I do. Is just I pin that snipping tool to my taskbar at the bottom, so I can just click on it, do it, and upload. Was that your question? Also, folks, how often are you taking a deep breath per day? Hopefully often. If not, start working on it. Okay, just pin the link in the chat. Just pin the link. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. If you guys need more in-depth stuff, I can absolutely help you. Anytime a Q makes me. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good, Kie. I'm glad those deep breaths are important. Man, so often, I teach this stuff. I tell my friends, family. I'm not just this person on here. Trust me, I probably get annoying to my friends and family about talking about health benefits and how to manage emotions and CBT and ants and all that stuff. And so I talk about deep breaths and breathing often, but it's so easy to just get caught up in the day. And then I find myself like, oh my goodness, I haven't taken a deep breath. All my breaths have been in my chest this whole day. I haven't taken anything from the diaphragm. And then I sit back and I take that deep breath, and immediately I just feel so much better. Takes work, takes discipline every day. You guys know that. Deep breath. Whenever I'm in a trade that takes too long, when I'm angry, I walk away from the screen. When I'm anxious, nervous, and antsy, I do not take a trade. That's awesome. That's a discipline that everybody needs to apply to their trading journey. And I don't think, especially for anybody in here, for most of these faces I recognize, you guys have been trading for some time now, and you probably have a pretty good understanding of how important this psychological and emotional aspect of trading is. For anybody who is new, if you don't realize now, I highly encourage you to learn from the mistakes of others and not go through this. But it's a little bit of both. You're going to have to roll with some of the punches of understanding that revenge trading and sizing up are really dangerous games, and they're really costly, not only on a financial level, but potentially even more costly on an emotional level and discipline level, where you're breaking down good habits and you're forming bad habits, and that's just going to take you so much longer to get to your ultimate goal of profitability. 100% with you, my friend. My friends find it annoying the amount of time I talk about discipline, success, psychology, etc. If you don't embody it in your life, you can't be 100% disciplined. 100%. I'm right there with you, dude. Sometimes I need to catch myself. Like, okay, not the time or place. I shouldn't be talking about this stuff, but it's just, it flows out, man. What you study, what you embody, I mean, what's in the heart is of your actions. So it's hard to turn off sometimes, that's for sure. Well, folks, appreciate you a ton. I appreciate the interaction. I always love talking with you guys. If you guys need help on a more personal level, anytime reach out to JoJo, Braden, or I, and we'll get you set on the right track. If we don't have the answers, we're really good at finding the right answers and resources for you. And we're right here with you. We're not standing from pedestals. We may be a little further in our journey, our trading journey, than you, but we all have a lot to learn from each other, and the goal is just 1% better every day. So we're right there with you. We're helping each other, and that's what we're facilitating here. Can we just send you a message? Absolutely. You just click on my name, and you can shoot me a DM, and we'll talk about it. If you want something more in depth, we have right here. What do we call it? One-on-one. We're actually, I'll tell you, we have some big stuff planned, but you can message me anytime, and I'll get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. If you want something more in depth, like a true mentorship of sorts, of one-on-one calls or jumping on a call with me and JoJo, we have a premium for that, but it essentially just depends on what your goals are. It's obviously not going to be for everybody, and some people don't thrive in that environment, but some people really do need that one-on-one coaching stuff. But if you just want to DM me, totally free, reach out, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Sweet, Connor. Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, friends. Well, that's what I got for you today. Again, we are going to be going or giving away that prop firm tomorrow, and that's about all the announcements. We do have some big stuff planned about creating a curriculum that we have not seen in the trading space before. I mean, the whole works to bring someone from absolute zero and no understanding to profitability, or at a minimum, a really deep understanding of every aspect of what we're doing here. And so that's going to take us quite a bit of time, as far as, like, we have the general outline of how we want to move forward, but we essentially need to script and make every single thing a really detailed way, and then professionally edit the videos, come up with the curriculum, and then structure the Discord and our website and our social media after that curriculum, so people can just walk. And it'll be, half of it will be the beginning steps of what people should be doing, and then half of it will be more in depth, really just an arc of the curriculum. And so that's going to really take quite a bit of time. We're working through and wrestling with some stuff right now of how to actually implement that stuff, but we have an action plan forward, and journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. So I'm excited for what we have to come, and appreciate all you guys. So go tell your loved ones that you love them. We often arrogantly believe that we have more time than we really do. Tonight may be the last time you wake up, and I know that's pretty heavy, but it's the reality that we all face. Nothing is guaranteed in this life. So what really matters to you, for me, it's the relationships in my life. My finances can go out the window, my assets, whatever I have, that's gone. It's not coming with me anyway. What matters is the relationships and cultivation of what you want to do and why you're here. So ask yourself those questions. Go tell your loved ones that you love them, and do something hard today, and make the right decisions, folks. All right, friends. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you guys on tomorrow. See ya.